Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. It's Vlogmas Day 8 today, and it's another Throwback Thursday video. Today we're going to take those Quilt-As-You-Go squares and we're going to sew them into rows. See what I did there with the roses and rows? I am going to, I'm still here at the Thomasville Rose Garden, Thomasville, Georgia. I'm going to check it out a little bit more. Enjoy your Throwback Thursday video and have a great day. Bye. I have the first parts of the block already joined in rows here, and the very top is those 4 rows are already together, and then at the bottom you can see that these rows are separate, and so even though they're already bound, the first 3 are, I just have to do this bottom row. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stack these from right to left, and then we'll go over to the machine. I'm at the machine, but first I want to go over just a few basics about what we're going to be doing. This technique is not my own. I learned it from a video by Leah Day, and I'm going to link her video in the description. She is somebody that I would consider a professional, and so there are things that she doesn't do that I felt like I needed to do to make this successful. So as we go through, these are primarily her techniques, but I'm going to show you some of the things that I did to make it work for me. So I have my my fabric blocks here, and one thing that I've done is I mark each of the blocks with a pin so that I know which number it is. And so I have the first 4 in each row I've marked with a pin going horizontally, and then the second 4 are vertical. So this one is marked 1, and then this next one is 3 because this is number 2, etc., all the way down. And then I'm going to show you how I do the last one in each row as well. We really need basic materials for this technique. So I have here my scissors, rotary cutter, pins that I'm going to be using. Also the strips that I'm going to be using to join them together. I've just taken a jelly roll strip and I've cut it into segments that are a little bit bigger than my actual piece, and I cut them down into 2 parts. One strip is 1.5 inches and the other strip is 1 inch. And for each of the 1.5, I have just pressed in half. Okay, this will be going on the front, and this larger piece is going to go on the back. I'm also going to be using my iron a lot, so that's definitely something that's always running while I do this process. Take a look at my machine. This is a really basic sewing machine. This is not even the one that I normally use. I just pulled it out for this project because I haven't used it in a while. So you don't need anything fancy to create these blocks or to join them in rows or anything like that. So let's get started. To start the process, what I'm going to do is take one of my folded strips. This is the 1.5 inch strip that I've folded and pressed in half, and then I'm going to place that on top of the fabric, and then I'm going to place the 1 inch on the back. Okay, and you want to make sure that the raw edge of this fold is the same as the raw edge of your fabric. So that's going to put the fold on the inside. Okay, and I'm just going to do a 1/4 inch seam on my machine here, and you want to make sure that you use a jumper scrap or leaders and enders, something like that, because this fabric can easily get trapped under the plate, and you don't want that. So I'm just going to do this, and it's going to secure the gray fabric on the front and the back. And I'm actually going to chain piece this, so I'm going to do it for each. I'm going to do it for each one of these other blocks as well. Okay, so I'll do that and then I will come back. I'm finishing up my last block, so in this first step on, and I want to show you how I remind myself that I'm at the end of a row. This is the last block for this row, And so I know that there's not going to, I'm not going to put a gray strip on there because I put a pin on the right. So for the last one, I do the whole row at one time, and then I put that pin on the right to let me know when it's time to stop with this row. Alright, so the next step is going to be to start cutting these, but I'm not going to cut all the way down because I want to keep my chain piecing going. Okay, and so ideally I would be sewing the first two together, but since I've already done those, I'm just going to go on to the next two. So that's numbers 1 and 2. I'm actually going to get ready to sew numbers 3 and 4 together. So here's number 3, and here's number 4. Okay, so I'm going to, let me move that one out of the way. I'm going to take the pins out of number 4. Okay, and then for the one in number 3, the first thing I'm going to do is take this back piece and I'm going to put it up like this, and I'm actually going to go to the iron and press it. Then I'll come back and show you how to put it together. So I have my piece pressed out here in the back, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these together, but in order to do that I'm going to sew it back to back, so to speak. So all I'm doing is lining up the edge of the block with the edge of the strip. Okay, and then I'm going to actually do some pinning here. I need to make sure that the top of the blocks match and the bottom of the blocks match. So I'm going to pin there. And I'm actually going to pin parallel to the seam. I tried it where it was perpendicular, where it's a 90-degree angle, but to me it worked better if I go parallel. It holds that seam a little bit, holds the fabric a little bit more steady. Okay, so now I'm going to line up the bottom and give that a pin. And if you don't do that perfectly, it'll still work out at the end, but just try to line it up here as best you can. And I like to put 2 more pins in just to stabilize it. And so when I go to the machine, I'm going to stitch 1/4 inch right in this area. Okay, but first I'm going to do the other 2 just like this. So I'm going to do, this is 3 and 4, so I'm going to do 5 and 6, and then 7 and 8. Then I'll run them through the machine. Okay, so I'll be back. I've stitched it here along this side. Okay, so now the whole thing is together. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors and sliver trim along the edge there, and then I'm going to do a little pressing. Just sliver trimming it, so just a little bit so it'll all fit in there comfortably. And then so you can see I'm not taking that much off at all. Okay. And then from here you can see that it's going to lay nice and tight here inside that it's about a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So what I'm going to do is go to the iron, and I'm just going to press it here to hold it firm. Then I'm going to press this gray side over, and then we'll do a little stitching and we'll be done. I want to show you this before I start stitching this. I have already pressed it here and then pressed it over, but if you'll look here at the top, it's a little bit unkempt, kind of, because the needle didn't grab it quite right because it was underneath the presser foot. But once we cover it up, it's not going to matter as much, and then we'll put the rows together, it won't matter. Okay, so the next seam I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it over here, and I'm just going to stitch along this side to cover up that one stitch line. Okay, and then I'll do one more stitch line, and that'll be it for this seam. So I have finished this one, these two, and what I've done is this is the stitch along the right side that from where we folded over, and then I did another row of stitching here on the left side just to give it some uniformity. And I've done This one is, I've done 2 together, and then I'm going to go back and join 4 together. So these will come together like this, somehow, like this. And then I'll join the whole row together. If you have any questions, please comment below. Thank you for watching. Thumbs up this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!